What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is F.A. Lozy, and today we are doing something absolutely insane. I was just sitting around thinking, what are the craziest, most dangerous places on the entire planet? So I did the research. What I found will blow your mind. I am literally going to give you a heart attack with some of these. You think you're brave? You think you can handle anything? I challenge you to watch this entire video without getting goosebumps. Today, we're counting down 10 terrifying places you should never visit alone. Some are so dangerous, they're illegal to even try to visit. We're talking radioactive ghost towns. We're talking islands filled with the world's deadliest snakes. This is not your average travel vlog. This is a survival guide for places you should never, ever go. We'll take you there virtually from the safety of your screen. It's going to be a wild ride. So buckle up. Before we jump in, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Seriously, click it until it turns blue. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. We're on a mission to hit our next subscriber milestone. All right, are you ready? Let's dive into the first terrifying location. You won't believe this one. Kicking off our list at number 10, we're going to a place that was the site of the single worst nuclear disaster in human history. I'm talking about Chernobyl, Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, a reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, releasing an insane amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere. It was so catastrophic, 400 times more fallout than Hiroshima. The entire city of Pripyat, home to almost 50,000 people, was evacuated in just a few hours. They were told they'd be back in 3 days. They never returned. Today, Pripyat is a ghost town, frozen in time. Picture this. You're walking through an abandoned school, books open on desks, dolls left on the floor, Soviet-era posters peeling off walls. It's one of the most haunting things you could ever see. There's a famous amusement park that was supposed to open days after the disaster. The Ferris wheel stands rusting and silent, a stolen future. The real danger, the invisible killer, is the radiation. Even decades later, hotspots can be lethal in hours. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, but it's there, destroying you from the inside out. Tour guides carry Geiger counters that just start screaming when you get near certain objects. Pile of moss, old fire truck. It's a constant, terrifying reminder. Going alone isn't just a bad idea. It's a potential death sentence. Imagine getting lost in empty radioactive streets as the sun goes down. No thank you. All right, coming in at number 9, we're going from a radioactive wasteland to something buried deep beneath one of the most beautiful cities in the world. We're heading to Paris, France, but we're not going to see the Eiffel Tower. We're going underground into the catacombs of Paris, a massive, terrifying maze that holds the bones of over 6 million people. 6 million. That is an absolutely staggering number. It's literally an empire of the dead right under your feet. Here's the crazy backstory. In the late 18th century, Paris's cemeteries were so overfilled that they were literally overflowing. It was a huge public health crisis. So the city decided to do something insane. Over several decades, they secretly moved the remains from the cemeteries into the city's ancient limestone quarries. They did this at night, moving carts filled with bones through the streets. It created this 200-mile-long network of tunnels lined with human skulls and bones. Now, there's a small section of the catacombs that's open to the public as a museum. It's creepy enough as it is. You walk down a long spiral staircase and suddenly you're in these narrow, damp tunnels, and the walls are just stacks of femurs and skulls. Some of them are arranged in artistic, macabre patterns. There's a sign at the entrance that says, "Arrête, c'est ici l'empire de la mort," which means stop, this is the empire of death. If that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will. But here's where it gets truly terrifying. That little museum part is less than a mile long. The other 99% of the tunnels are off-limits, unmapped, and incredibly dangerous. People known as cataphiles illegally explore these tunnels, but it is the easiest place in the world to get lost. The tunnels all look the same. There's no cell service, no light, and no way to call for help. People have literally gotten lost down there and died. Their bodies only found years later, or maybe never at all. For our number 8 spot, we are traveling to Japan. to the base of the majestic Mount Fuji. But we're not here to climb the mountain. We're here to enter a place with a reputation so dark, so chilling, it's known around the world as the Suicide Forest. This is Aokigahara. From the outside, it looks like a beautiful, dense forest. But once you step inside, the atmosphere changes completely. It is one of the quietest places you will ever experience. The reason for the silence is terrifying in itself. The forest floor is made of hardened volcanic rock from an ancient eruption of Mount Fuji. This rock absorbs sound, creating an eerie, unnatural quiet. There's very little wildlife. You don't hear birds or animals. The trees block out wind and sunlight. It feels like the forest is holding its breath. The silence is deafening and sorrowful. This forest has a long, tragic association with death. For decades, people have gone here to end their lives. The numbers are heartbreaking. The local government stopped publishing exact figures. Signs at the entrance and trails urge people to seek help. Your life is a precious gift from your parents. Please consult the police before you decide to die. Going in alone is a very bad idea. It's dangerously easy to get lost. The trees all look the same. The volcanic rock contains magnetic iron that can ruin navigation. Compasses, GPS devices, cell phones. People tie colored tape to trees to mark paths. The forest is crisscrossed with them. The weight of all the tragedy presses down. A psychological nightmare. Volunteers sweep the forest to recover bodies. Abandoned tents, personal belongings, letters left behind. The place is saturated with sadness. Visiting alone is disrespectful and dangerous. Treat this place with the utmost respect. Don't go alone. Okay, how about an island so packed with deadly snakes it's illegal to visit? I'm not exaggerating. At number 7, Ilha da Queimada Grande. Way cooler name, Snake Island. 90 miles off Sao Paulo, Brazil. Pure nightmare fuel. Not the kind of island you want to be shipwrecked on. Home to the golden lancehead. And not just a few. Scientists estimate 1 to 5 snakes per square meter for every step you take within striking distance of up to 5. Are you kidding me? The venom is insane. 5 times more potent than mainland relatives. It can literally melt human flesh. I'm not making that up. Kidney failure, muscle necrosis, brain hemorrhage, intestinal bleeding. If bitten and no anti-venom immediately, chances of survival are incredibly low. Super remote island. You're not getting anti-venom. You're basically a walking dead person. Only allowed Brazilian Navy. They go once a year to maintain the lighthouse. A few selected researchers, always accompanied by a doctor. Legend, lighthouse keeper and family. One night, snakes slithered through the windows. They tried to flee to their boat, bitten by snakes hanging from the branches. They all died. Thousands of years ago, rising seas trapped them. No ground predators. Population exploded. Be clear, going alone is not just illegal. It's suicide. You'd be surrounded, outnumbered, totally outmatched by thousands of camouflaged, flesh-melting snakes. We've had radiation, bones, snakes. Now, for number 6, we're talking about a danger that is, well, entirely human. We're heading to North Sentinel Island, part of the Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal, India. This island is home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes. They've lived in complete isolation for an estimated 60,000 years, and they've made one thing very, very clear to the outside world. Stay away, or we will kill you. The Indian government has declared it illegal to go within 3 miles of the island, and that's for 2 reasons. First, to protect the outside world from the Sentinelese. They're known to be extremely hostile and will attack anyone who tries to approach. They fire arrows and throw stones at boats and helicopters that get too close. There are documented cases of them killing people who have washed ashore or tried to make contact. They do not mess around. Second, to protect the Sentinelese from us. Because they've been isolated so long, they have absolutely no immunity to common diseases like the flu, measles. A simple cold could wipe out their entire population. Just by setting foot on their island, you could, without meaning to, commit genocide. In 2006, 2 fishermen whose boat drifted to the island were killed. When a helicopter tried to recover their bodies, it was driven off by a volley of arrows. In 2018, American missionary John Allen Chow illegally went to the island to try and convert the tribe. He was shot with arrows and killed. His body was never recovered. It's a brutal reminder. Their desire to be left alone is not a suggestion. You would be met with immediate and deadly force. This is a place the outside world has a moral obligation to leave completely and utterly alone. Let the mystery remain. Coming in at number 5, we're heading to the beautiful Venetian lagoon in Italy. But nope, we're not visiting Venice. We're going to a small, abandoned island, one of the most haunted places on Earth. This is Poveglia Island. They say the soil here is 50% human ash. For centuries, it was a place of suffering and death. The island's dark history began in the Roman era, used to isolate plague victims. Its most infamous chapter started during the Black Death. Venice shipped anyone showing symptoms to Poveglia. They were thrown into giant pits, buried, horrifyingly burned alive. It's estimated over 160,000 people died on this tiny island, a plague quarantine dumping ground. In the 1920s, a mental hospital was built. Patients reported seeing ghosts and hearing whispers. The head doctor dismissed them. He performed horrific experiments, lobotomies, using crude tools, hammers and chisels. He became a real-life monster. Legend says the doctor was driven mad by ghosts. He climbed the bell tower and threw himself off. He didn't die from the fall. A nurse claimed a ghostly mist rose and choked him to death. The hospital closed and the island was abandoned. The bell tower still stands, silent and ominous. Today, Poveglia is strictly off-limits. The Italian government forbids it. Fishermen refuse the waters, sometimes pulling up human bones in their nets. Trespassers report overwhelming dread and sadness. They hear disembodied screams, voices, the ringing of the bell tower, even though the bell was removed decades ago. A place where the barrier between the living and the dead feels terrifyingly thin. For number 4, we're leaving behind ghosts and going to a place that honestly looks like a scene from a Hollywood disaster movie. We're in the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan, at a place called the Darvaza gas crater, known to everyone as the door to hell. And when you see it, you'll totally understand why. It's this giant fiery crater, almost 230 feet wide, 100 feet deep, and it has been burning continuously for over 50 years. It's a literal pit of fire right in the middle of the desert. The story behind this is just as wild as it looks. So, back in 1971, Soviet geologists were drilling in the desert, thinking they had found a massive oil field. But instead of oil, they hit a giant pocket of natural gas. The ground beneath their entire drilling rig collapsed, creating this massive crater and releasing huge amounts of poisonous methane gas into the air. It was, honestly, a total disaster. To prevent the poisonous gas from spreading to nearby towns and harming people and livestock, the geologists made a pretty bold decision. They decided to light it on fire. They figured the gas would burn off in a few weeks, and the problem would be solved. A few weeks, that was over 50 years ago, and it's still burning today with no signs of stopping. They accidentally created a man-made, eternally burning inferno. You can't make this stuff up. Visiting this place is a surreal experience. You're in the middle of a vast, empty desert, and then you see this orange glow on the horizon. At night, it's absolutely spectacular, and honestly, terrifying. It literally looks like you are staring into the gates of the underworld. Number 3. You'll boil alive in Death Valley. We're heading back to the USA for number 3. To a place with a name that tells you everything you need to know, Death Valley. Located in California and Nevada, Death Valley is the hottest, driest, and lowest place in North America. This isn't just a catchy title. It holds the record for the highest air temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth. A mind-blowing 134 degrees Fahrenheit, or 56.7 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to cook an egg on the pavement, and it's almost hot enough to boil water. The danger in Death Valley is pure, raw nature at its most extreme. The heat is the primary killer. In the summer, temperatures regularly soar above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. If your car breaks down, or if you try to go for a hike in the middle of the day, you are in serious trouble. Dehydration and heat stroke can set in with terrifying speed. You can lose gallons of water through sweat without even realizing it. People have died here just by making the simple mistake of not bringing enough water. The landscape itself is brutally beautiful and treacherous. It's a vast expanse of salt flats, sand dunes, and rocky canyons. It's incredibly easy to get disoriented and lost. There is almost no cell phone service in the majority of the 3.4 million acre park. If you get into trouble, you are completely on your own. The roads can be rough, and help can be hours or even days away. Walking out onto the flats alone in the middle of the day would be one of the last mistakes you ever make. Your body simply cannot handle that kind of extreme heat. It is beautiful, but it is also a killer. Number 2. The Graveyard in the Clouds, Mount Everest. For our runner-up spot, number 2, we are going to the top of the world. Literally. We're going to Mount Everest in the Himalayas of Nepal. Climbing Everest is the ultimate achievement for many mountaineers, a testament to human endurance and determination. But it is also one of the deadliest places on Earth. The mountain is littered with the bodies of climbers who never made it back down. There are over 200 bodies still on Everest, perfectly preserved by the freezing temperatures. The section above 8,000 meters is known as the death zone. At that altitude, the oxygen level is so low that the human body cannot survive for long. It is slowly dying. Your body starts to break down. You're at risk of high-altitude cerebral edema, where your brain swells. High-altitude pulmonary edema, where your lungs fill with fluid. Both are fatal if you don't descend immediately. The dangers are relentless. Clear skies, then a blizzard with hurricane-force winds. Avalanches are a constant threat, sweeping entire teams off the mountain. The Khumbu Icefall is a chaotic, ever-shifting glacier of giant ice blocks. Climbers navigate this maze on rickety aluminum ladders over deep crevasses. It's absolutely terrifying. Now imagine trying to do any of this alone. It's practically impossible and completely insane. Every climber on Everest relies on a team. Experienced Sherpa guides who know the mountain like the back of their hand. Fixed ropes to ascend steep sections. Teammates for physical and psychological support. If you get into trouble, your only hope is the people around you. Alone, you have zero chance. Even with a team, things go wrong. Frostbite claims fingers, toes, noses. Many deaths on Everest occur on the way down from the summit. To attempt it alone would be to disrespect the mountain, the people who have died there, and your own life. It is the definition of a suicide mission. Number 1. The most dangerous place on Earth, the Darien Gap. We've seen radiation, ghosts, snakes, and the highest peak on Earth. But for the number 1 most terrifying place you should never, ever visit alone, we're going to a place that combines the worst of humanity with the worst of nature. This is the Darien Gap, a 100-mile stretch of dense, roadless jungle and swamp that separates Panama and Colombia. This is the only break in the Pan-American Highway, which runs from Alaska to Argentina. There is a reason no road has ever been built through here. The Darien Gap is one of the most lawless and dangerous places in the Western Hemisphere. The jungle is controlled by armed guerrilla groups, drug traffickers, ruthless smugglers. For decades, it has been a major route for smuggling drugs and people. It is a place where human life has very little value. Migrants from all over the world attempt the perilous journey, and many are robbed, assaulted, or killed by criminal gangs who prey on them. There is no police, no army, no law. You are completely at their mercy. On top of the extreme human danger, the natural environment is trying to kill you at every turn. You have to hack your way through with a machete. Fer de lance, a venomous snake, poison dart frogs whose skin can kill you, jaguars and swarms of insects that carry diseases like malaria and dengue fever. Even the plants are dangerous, with thorns that can rip your skin to shreds. The terrain itself is a nightmare. Steep mountains, deep ravines, and vast swamps. Flash floods are common and can turn a gentle stream into a raging torrent in minutes, sweeping people away. There are no marked trails. There is no cell service. There is no hope of rescue if you get lost or injured. You are more isolated here than almost anywhere else on Earth. People who have survived crossing it describe it as hell on Earth. Explorer Ed Stafford, the first person to walk the length of the Amazon, said the Darien Gap was the most dangerous place he had ever been. It is, without a doubt, the undisputed number 1 most terrifying place on Earth you should never visit alone, period. And there you have it, 10 of the most terrifying, dangerous, absolutely insane places on the planet. From the radioactive silence of Chernobyl to the lawless, deadly jungle of the Darien Gap, these are places that will give you chills just thinking about them. It's a crazy world out there. While adventure is awesome, These locations are on a whole other level. They are a powerful reminder that nature and sometimes humanity can be incredibly unforgiving. Please, always travel safely, do your research, and never, ever underestimate the dangers that these places present. Don't be a statistic. I have to know which one of these places freaked you out the most. For me, it's a tie between Snake Island and the Darien Gap. I can't decide what's worse, a million venomous snakes or a jungle full of drug traffickers. Let me know your pick in the comments below. I'm going to be reading every single comment because I'm genuinely curious to see what you guys think is the absolute scariest. Let's start a huge debate down there. Thank you all so much for watching. This was an insane video to make, and your support means the world to me. If you made it this far and you aren't subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you can be part of the notification squad for the next video. We have some crazy ideas planned that you do not want to miss. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.